Got it. Got it.
We're here.
I've got to stop doing imitations of your accent. I
Got
think
it.
it could be rude of me.
It could be, but because it's me.
Maybe a little bit rude. I'm just doing it again. I have a friend at work who's Irish. I mean, my family are Irish, but I was born here and my mum was born here, my dad was born here, but the whole ancestry is Irish.
Yes.
Every time I see her, I say hello in a cheeky little like leprechaun-y. Like, I can't help it. Every time I see her, and I'm like, I need to stop. And I've apologized to her, and she's like, it's fine. And then the next day I see her and I go, hello,
Hello. Oh
hello.
no. Well, if you can pick up the Wisconsin accent, I would be, what's the word? I'd
Impressed?
be, well, impressed for sure and a little honored.
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 Backs. You say backs.
Box, car,
Backs.
roof,
Roof.
roof, the
That's
thing on the top of the house.
that's normal. Roof.
Well, some people say rough.
Who says rough?
Mm, like
That's
southern.
rough.
Mm,
That sounds
it's
like
on the rough.
rough. It's a little rough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling a
Yes.
little rough today. I'm just looking at what you said
Okay, I can
were
tell you what I said.
possible topics. You can tell me. Go on
Yeah,
then.
so this is
Go
dealer's
on then. I
choice.
dare
Yeah.
you. Dealer's choice. I dare you. Go. That felt very face up. Come on. I can tell you.
Bring it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Blame versus ownership.
Correct.
Breathe that in. Aging and getting older.
Correct.
Choosing expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And why we don't get supported and go it alone. Those
Mm-hmm.
are the four choices. And anything else that might be on your heart for today. Where you
Hmm.
want to go?
I'm less excited about choosing expansion.
Mm,
I wondered, I mean, what would you like to do? Because you came up with all of those. Um, I wondered after yesterday, there's loads of rain now outside,
mm.
about the why we don't get supported and
That's
go
the
it
one I want to
alone.
go with.
Okay, let's go with that then.
We chose the same one.
Go
There's
on
only a
then.
25% chance that that was going to happen. Okay.
My brain was going, trying to work out how did you work that out? And then no, I got it. Okay, I
I
got
didn't
it.
even use my fingers. I was like,
No, well done. I'm with
one
you. I get
fourth.
it.
Yes. Okay.
So,
So where I want to go with this is something I fucking do.
hmm,
And I'm still surprised when it is reflected to me that I have oh, no. No, no. Sorry. He's trying to open my door. He being my lovely Oliver, who is my mutt dog, who really wants to be in here, but there's another door and he can go that way. He doesn't want to. So I have been in um, some, I don't know, there's been some turmoil in the family,
hmm,
and it has been going on probably about a month. And I finally met with my coach this week. She was off for a month.
hmm,
And in the midst of all of this turmoil, I was sharing with her kind of where I was at, and not necessarily in breakdown, but definitely getting confronted by things um and things that are going on with my clients. And I'm kind of like just catching her up, and she just looked at me and she goes, "What, how come you didn't reach out?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, you're holding a lot.
hmm.
What has you not getting supported?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it never occurred to me." And then I was like, "That's a lie. It did occur to me, and I got mad at you because being meaning my coach. I got mad at my
Mm,
coach because she takes June off."
mm,
So there were times in June where I was like, "Well, if I could reach out to her, I would, but
mm,
she's on vacation."
mm.
And I told her that, and she's like, that's so funny because I you can always reach me. Always. Yes, I take June off and I am available to you.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I know that. But I was
Mm.
mad there were many times I was mad. So further justifying me doing it by myself.
Yeah. So where have you kind of gotten to?
Yeah.
And also, I'm really curious, do you get to the same place again and again?
Um, yes. And what I'm learning, which isn't going to be like it's going to be a big duh for everybody listening. Oh, sorry, for Tracy and you and maybe Princess Kate, is
Mm.
that it makes sense why I didn't reach out for support because I didn't want to look at the, what was causing the turmoil. I didn't want to look at what scares me about my kids. I didn't want to
Mm.
look at the stress and fear I have inside my marriage. I don't I don't want to
Mm.
because it's scary. And it's so confronting. And then when I look at it, I cry, and I don't like crying. And so I will make up all the excuses for why I don't get supported.
That's really interesting because what I thought you were going to say
Mm-hmm.
was that you don't want to reach out because you're going to look like an idiot. You're going to look weak, which would be my reason
Yeah.
for trying to figure stuff out on my own. Your reason is that you don't want to look at the things.
I would have told you that that's probably why I don't reach out because I don't want to look weak. And it
Mm.
wasn't until I was actually being confronted with it this week with my coach because she was like, "Why are what's going on?" And I was like, "Well, I think maybe I don't want to, I don't want to have to ask for help because that's like I have my logic tree." And then I was like, "Wait a minute, let me get out of my head. Let me get into my heart for a minute. Let me just ah, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to fucking cry. I don't want to face that gigantic fear." And I can actually feel it coming up right now. Like it comes up in my body, even the thought of what is happening with our daughter and what is happening with my husband, both coinciding. If I step really far back, I can see that those two are actually related to each other, la la la. But I am
You
scared.
don't mean biologically, you mean the issues they're having.
Yet they trigger each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's no surprise that as she started to unravel, that he then did his what would you call it? Reactive unraveling. That's the name of
Mm.
my next book. Reactive unraveling. So, and that scares me.
Mm.
It's scary to think of to do the future tripping of like if she can't get this together, if he can't manage and navigate his own life.
Mm.
Like, shit, what does that mean? What does it mean? And
Mm.
then I get into like the catastrophizing and we all end up in a van down by the river regardless.
Mm. Yeah, you've said that before.
Yeah.
I'm just going to unhook.
Are you unhooking your bra?
I am because I feel really, I
Does
can't
that feel
breathe
better?
today. Yeah.
There you For all of our
Un
listeners, I want to invite you to also unhook your bra.
unhook.
Take a deep breath.
Unhook. Whatever there
Hmm.
is to be unhooked. So you're avoiding, it's an avoidance, not reaching
Yeah.
out to
I don't want to
talk
look at
about
it.
it
Yeah, I don't want to
with
look at it.
your coach or a friend.
You, I reached out to you yesterday, which
Mm.
was, I don't want to look at it. And there's a part of me, it's like, ah, do it
Mm.
anyways. Like push-ups. I don't want to do push-ups, but I do them
No.
anyways.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the second part of that question, which may not have been very clear, was kind of like actually the first part even is like, so where do you find yourself now? So there's an issue.
Yeah.
You do your avoidance thing, which
Hmm.
is to not get supported, not ask for any support, not ask for any help, not have any conversations, so that you can avoid, stick your head in the sand. You don't have to look at the thing that's upsetting and worrying you.
Yeah.
You then did ask for some support.
Hmm.
So I'm sort of I'm interested in, so where do you find yourself now? And then is this, wherever you are now,
Hmm.
is this also part of the loop or the pattern? Is this a loop and a pattern that you go round and round and round in? Problem, I mean, these are my words, head
Yeah.
in sand, avoidance, don't
Mhm.
want to talk about it,
Mhm.
finally reach out, have conversation. I don't know what the other
And
part of.
then where does it land? Yeah. Um, Asking for help is not part of the pattern. That's a separate, that jumps me out. It's like the escape hatch.
So that's a pattern interrupter. That's interrupting your normal
Yeah.
pattern.
Yeah, it is this time. I can say for this instance it is. And what I notice is that so then I would imagine the next logical question is, so like, what does it do for you? So you jump out of like the avoidance loop
Mm.
and you get into this other place where you do share. And um, I think what it does for me and what it did for me on Tuesday and then with you again on and actually with Faye again on Thursday, I reached out for help again from her and then I reached out to you, is uh, like it made that scary fear a little bit smaller. It doesn't go away. I don't I don't know how to make it go away. I don't think it does go away. I think a lot of us humans spend a lot of time and energy trying to make it go away, which is one of the ways that I was doing it, which is to just not look at it. There's no monster in the room. I can't see it, right?
Avert your eyes.
Yes, just don't make eye contact. We're all good.
It won't bite you.
Right.
Yeah.
Or to tell everybody, there's a thousand ways that I won't look at the fear.
Mm.
I'll get busy. I will create chaos in other places. So like we're fucking brilliant. Our brains are, well, we'll try this. And if that doesn't work, then we'll try this. And then we'll try this. And we'll try this. And we're really, really fascinatingly brilliant and creative when we
Mm.
need to be. Um, and when I look at the fear, what happens is that frenzied, it's like, I don't really know how to explain it, but I feel like I'm buzzing. It's a tense, like, zzz, and as soon as I talk about it and I cry or I release whatever when I face the fear, I can get my feet back on the ground again.
Mm.
And my nervous system settles a bit. Uh, I do also notice that in that moment, in those moments, I feel tired. And
Mm.
so I wonder if like I'm holding, the buzzing, whatever that is. And then as soon as I face it, I'm like, okay, I don't have to carry that anymore. And I'm fucking tired. It's
Mm.
tiring
Mm.
to avoid and to constantly be vigilant of not looking over here.
Yeah. And, your coach used the words, you're holding a lot.
Yes.
You've just referenced that again, kind of like as if you're
Yeah.
carrying something, that sort of
Yes.
energy of muscles tense. We tense our
Yes.
muscles when we pick something up and we carry it. And that you said something about the future. So and I think you used the word
Mm-hmm.
catastrophizing. So you're catastrophizing, you're imagining
Mm-hmm.
that, you're all going to end up in a van down by the river. You'll lose the house. Everybody will be
Yeah.
whatever. There'll be chaos and craziness
Yeah.
you know, and obviously none of that is real.
No.
It's, it's it's a fantasy
Yes.
of a future that hasn't happened.
Nope.
No, so when you've got your feet back on the ground, when you've shared and you've released that I'm saying fantastical, that fantastical story, that
Yeah.
made up story about the future. And I understand why you've got that story, because we've sort of been trained to be logical, haven't we? It's kind of like, well, if that happened last time and that happened this time, then I can predict that this will happen
Sure.
next time.
I have
And that's how
evidence.
yes, I have evidence, and that's how I plot and plan my way
Yeah.
through.
Yes.
I have evidence that this is a quicker way to the supermarket because I've done it 5 times before and it was always quicker. So I will do it this time and it will
Yeah.
probably be quicker. So we
Right.
use those
Yes.
skills all the time and they're really, really useful.
Yes.
Sounds not so useful.
Yeah. I think where I get into, what's the right word? It's not trouble, but where I like start bumping into, um, like getting stuck is when I am actively avoiding looking at my fear.
Mm,
So like the fear starts to encroach, right? And I feel like I'm tap dancing around, like I can't see it, and then it moves over here. I'm like, nope, can't do it over there. And then it's like, okay,
mm,
well then we'll be over here. And then I'm like, nope. And I just keep pivoting and moving,
mm,
and that is exhausting. And it what happens is instead of just facing the thing, all the energy goes into avoiding facing the thing. And it again, it's fine. Like there are times when I know I'm avoiding it
mm,
and I'll do it anyways because I'm not ready, I'm not prepared, I'm not supported, I don't feel safe, 1,000 reasons why. And it it keeps me stuck. Even if all of those reasons are justified, I am still energetically stuck, holding,
mm,
avoiding, tap dancing around, trying to not look at the
mm.
thing.
I want to ask you now for
Hmm.
very, very unhooked. There's
Maybe you hook one of the
a bit
clasps.
of a Houdini event happening under my t-shirt where everything's just like, we're getting out of the cage. Back in the cage. This feels really uncomfortable.
Oh.
Okay, hooked back up. What I would love to know, and obviously you don't need to answer this, but I'm really curious. You say you're avoiding the thing, and I'm like, what are you avoiding? Are you avoiding your catastrophized, fake, made up, extrapolated out to the worst version of anything that it could ever happen story, or are you avoiding what's actually happening right now in the moment?
I would say neither. What I'm actually avoiding is my my heartbreak. So I guess it's the answer's B. Um, it is the second thing
It was
because
only an A and a C. You've picked wrong. Pick again.
oh shoot. Um,
Heartbreak.
because the reality, and I might get emotional because I'm starting to feel it come up right now. The reality is that there are people that I love and they're hurting.
Mm,
And I can't I can't take that away for them.
mm,
And it just like it crumples my heart, into a tiny little ball and it hurts. And I don't want to feel that. And then when I let it up, this happens. And I don't want to feel this. Like in this moment, I don't want to be crying. I don't want to be feeling the heartbreak. It
mm,
hurts a lot.
mm,
It's an emotional pain, physical too, like my chest is tight and my throat it gets tight and tears happen and my nose runs. It's not a great experience. However, so I'd say that's the answer, is that there's a lot of heartbreak right now that
mm,
I don't want to feel.
mm. Yeah, so you're avoiding being with the fact that you can't
Yeah.
take their hurt away.
Yes. Yeah. And believe me, I'll try.
Yeah, I know
I
you
will
will.
fix everybody's problems for them.
No,
Just
but let
ask
me
me.
just try this.
Yeah. Have you?
Off.
Yes, right?
Yeah,
My
yeah. Have you thought about this?
my
Yeah.
smother hen,
Mm,
my survival mechanism smother hen shows up and she's just like get all those chicks in a nice tight bundle and fix it all. And
mm,
which is wonderful for me. However, for my hens, they're like, get off of me,
mm.
you
Why
know?
they get off of me, do you think? Why would anybody be like, get off of me?
Um,
Not just them.
yeah. Well, their experience is that it's patronizing
Mm,
to think that I can fix their problem or that my answer is better than theirs or that I could possibly know what they need,
mm.
especially when I'm not asked, which is very rare.
Especially. Yes.
Most people are not asking for my opinion, although I wish they would. We could start another podcast where it's like Mia and Allison's opinions.
Ask me anything. This is our opinions. That's
Ask
all we're
me.
doing here.
It's
We're
so
just
true.
not allowing anyone to ask us anything because then we'll have to engage with people. So
Fuck.
dull.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah, you
yeah.
said it's patronizing, and the message is, let me fix it. I have a better answer. So it's sort of disabling for them, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it's a good word.
So I'm kind of wondering, what is the thought,
Mm.
wherever it is underneath the action, the thought that's driving the disabling action? What is the thought or the belief that's driving that brilliant disabling that you're doing?
That I can't handle this heartbreak. I can't. I don't want to feel that.
Hmm. I see something else. Can I say it?
Yes, please. Where'd you
Okay.
go? You went under the camera.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, do it again. See? I can see your roots.
Oh, I can't.
You're like a monkey now. Eep. Oop.
I've
Oh.
turned off view of self.
Oh, you can't see yourself. I
I
see.
can't see myself
Oh,
because
you're beautiful. I'm sorry I
that's
said
also
anything.
quite disabling to constantly be looking at oneself. It's not normal. Um, over the time that we only saw ourselves when we bent our faces down into a river to get washed. I mean,
Where did that come from? Is that like a poem?
no, that's from our ancient history, isn't it? We were only ever possibly seeing a reflection of ourselves when
In the
we
water, I see.
in the
Yeah,
water.
let me
Yeah,
catch
yeah.
up.
Is
That
that
was
a
way
poem?
too intellectual. You got to slow it
Yeah, it's a
down.
poem I've been drafting whilst listening to you. Um, so focus mind. What I wondered was the belief underneath that action was that you didn't trust them. This is probably coming from my own
Projection
brain
much?
about me. Yes, exactly. Kind of like I don't trust my, you know, my sons, for example,
Yeah,
to get it right or do it and sort it out. So I'm like,
yeah.
let me just get out of the way. Let me just
Move.
get in there and I'll do it for
Yeah.
you. You watch me and see me do it properly,
Yes.
then you'll all be sorted.
Yes.
So I wondered if it was that, but again, I'm quite possibly really splattering my stuff all over you.
Well, I think there's always an element of trust whenever we fix somebody else's stuff for them.
Lack
Like
of trust.
a lack of trust. Yeah, that
Yeah.
um if I don't believe that my daughter can manage whatever issues she's in, that means I don't
Mm,
trust her. I don't believe in her.
mm,
And there are times when I'm really practicing trusting her right now. I am actively practicing it. And I love that the idea that trust is a gift. I used to believe that trust had to be earned.
Mm.
And it's like there's so many like quips, right, around trust. It takes, whatever to earn my trust, but only a second to take it away. And it's this
Mm.
this really fragile
Mm.
thing that anything can crack it and ruin it.
Mm.
And so trust to me always seemed like I don't like I didn't like the way that my belief system was set up around trust because I was like, that fucking sucks. I can't. Then that means I really can't trust anybody because every human's going to make a mistake at some point.
Mm.
And it's really difficult for me to know when I have to like turn off the trust and then turn it back on. And how do I know? So I've been really playing with the idea that trust is a gift that I choose to give at any moment. You don't have to do
Mm.
anything to earn it. And you may not do
Mm.
anything for me to not give it to you, that I get
Mm.
to choose moment to moment whether I trust you.
Mm.
So again, I want to use the caveat that like unless you are being abused, unless, people have robbed you or someone's taking your
Mm.
wallet or whatever, like those, that's different. But when
Mm.
when I'm talking about my relationship with my family, I think trust is something that I am practicing. But here's the thing that happens on the other side of trust is that then I have to be with my heartbreak. If I trust my daughter to be able to manage this thing without me smothering her or fixing it or navigating it with her or whatever, not even me supporting her in any way,
Mm.
unless she asks, please ask.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, then I am exposed to the heartbreak of her suffering and having no idea when and if her suffering will end.
If you trust her
Yep.
to be with her own suffering and you trust her to resolve her own human experience in whatever way she sees fit or whatever
Mhm.
way she finds, I'm not sure where the suffering comes in then. The heartbreak bit comes in because in my head,
Mhm.
I'm like, if you trust her,
Mhm.
that she's complete, she's whole, that
Mhm.
concept, you're whole and you're
Yeah.
complete.
Yeah.
Or I mean, is it a concept or is it the truth? It's like it's no good if it's just a concept because then if
Yeah.
it's a fundamental reality,
Yeah.
a fundamental principle of life, a truth
Mhm.
that each human being is whole and complete, even if when we look at them from the lens of our society, our culture, our place and point in history and time, and we say, that looks incomplete. But if we trust them, we say, this is the checklist of things that mean that you're not whole and
Yeah.
complete, you're broken. You've got 5 of these things on the checklist, therefore we deem you broken. But if
Mhm.
we put that to one side and we say, actually, we trust you as being whole and complete, wherever you are, at whatever stage, place, point you are at, then I don't understand the heartbreak,
Mm.
but I may just be being a bit dim about it.
Yes. You are being dim, and this is no, I'm kidding. It's a this is a great conversation because I'm not sure how to answer that. So let me try and see where we land. So currently, our daughter is navigating through what I would call a crisis, for lack of a better term. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic, but it makes for a good story. So she's in the midst of crisis, and inside of crisis, she is experiencing pain, discomfort, uncertainty, fear, anxiety, a lot of really uncomfortable stuff. And when I see her experiencing those things, my heart, I I'm uncomfortable because I can't I can fix it. Please ask me to. I can fix it, but I know that if I trust her, that she will eventually navigate her way to some kind of resolution. As she's navigating, she's in an awful lot of pain and agony. And for
Hmm.
me to sit on the sidelines, sit on my hands and be like, she's in a lot of pain and agony. And there's
Oh,
nothing like I can't do anything. I'm not being asked to do anything, and I'm scared. I'm
oh.
scared. I'm not scared. I'm just it's great that this is happening right now because it's not a fear. I do believe that she will get through it. Maybe the fear is like how much damage and how long does she stay here?
I get everything you've said
Yeah.
because obviously, I told you yesterday that one of my
Yes.
offspring,
Yeah.
you know, um, was was in a bit of a pickle over something.
Yeah.
And I had that same feeling. So I do get it,
Yeah.
kind of like, child, young adult, offspring,
Yeah.
those who we love beyond life itself
Oh,
are struggling with something, and we want to scoop them up in our arms like we did when they were 4, bounce them on our knees, wipe their tears away, and make it all
yes.
fine. So I get it, but I'm kind of thinking, if I really believe that my sons, let's just use the parent child relationship, if I really believe that my sons are whole and complete, and my sons have had some stuff,
Sure.
there's been a bit of wall punching and a bit of,
Hmm.
needing to take a bit of time out of work to
Yeah.
walk around the block, speak to the manager and say, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not okay here. Um, you know, biting a tea towel and screaming silently into it. Like angst, human angst.
Hell
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yes.
Like there's
Yes.
human angst, isn't there? Because we come up against something and I mean, I'm now defining fucking angst, but we come up against something, we're like, it's really horrible. I don't like it. I don't know how to deal with it. Probably doing our own bunch of catastrophizing, like, fuck, I'll be like this forever. So we're
Yes.
having our own panic. So when they're like that, obviously I want to bounce them on my knee and wipe their tears away.
Yeah.
However, they're tall as trees now.
Hmm.
And so maybe the methods and processes and even beliefs that I had when they were 4 are no longer relevant now they're, in their early 20s. So I'm just kind of trying to think, if I truly believe that they are whole and complete,
Hmm.
and that they will find what they need.
Yes.
They will go through what they need, what they're going through, and they will come out the other end. And obviously, sometimes people lives end earlier rather
Yeah.
than later. Some
Yes.
people, you know, um, take their lives.
Yes.
And I feel I'm in territory that I'm not qualified to speak about. But I kind of feel like, if I truly trust them, if I truly not just believe it as a concept, but I truly trust them, then what 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 is that worry that I have? Where is that
Mm.
coming from? How I don't understand the connection between me truly trusting
Yeah.
them to either have the resources or gain the resources, get
Yeah.
the resources, find the resource. Then how does that other stuff fit in? I don't have an
I
answer to
have
that.
an
I'm just,
well, I have an analogy, so let's see if
I
this
was going
makes
to say I
sense.
have an announcement. I have
I
an
have an
announcement to make.
announcement. Everybody, please clear the room. We have no
Okay.
answers and goodbye.
Yes, clear the room.
And end of recording. So the analogy is, did your kids have their wisdom teeth pulled? In America, in Oshkosh, all
I don't
kids
know.
get their
Maybe they
wisdom
did.
teeth pulled.
I don't remember.
Okay. You know what wisdom teeth are, and you know when you pull
I
them, it's
do.
fucking painful.
Yeah,
Okay,
I had mine removed.
there we go. So when you bring your kid in to have their wisdom teeth pulled, you know that they're going to like, it's going to be scary. You know that they're going to have some anxiety about it. You know that it's going to hurt like hell the next day, and you know that eventually they're going to heal.
Mm.
When they are in the pain and agony of like, oh, these teeth were just ripped out of my jaw, and there's nothing I can do for my child when they're in the pain,
Mm,
I still feel
mm,
their discomfort because I cannot take it
mm,
away. I
mm,
trust that my children's mouths will heal. I know they will.
mm,
And I wish I could have my wisdom, like I would take it for them, right? Parents always would take the pain for their child.
mm,
And yet I know this isn't a big deal. They're going to get over it. They're going to heal. But when they are in pain and
mm,
they wake up and the sedative wears off and they're like, oh my God, that creates discomfort for me on my
mm,
side.
mm. I
So
understand that.
I think we
Mm,
can have both. I think we can trust that our kids, my husband, our clients will get through because they are whole and complete. And when there is pain and discomfort for them, and there is nothing I can do to stop it, even though you should still ask me to stop it because I will. I experience the pain and discomfort of
so
like,
some sort of
yes,
empathic.
it's on my side because I cannot fix it for them. And yet I am witnessing
Mm,
a lot of angst, a lot of turmoil. I'll give you
mm,
another example if you're open to it.
I am.
So I think I told
Ramble
you
away. Mm,
one of my clients is the homeless shelter, and I worked with them. I've been working with them maybe three years now. And for the first time, I volunteered a few months ago. And after volunteering, for the first time in my entire life, I got in my car and I sobbed.
mm,
And I felt a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort
mm,
because I cannot fix it. These
mm,
people, the suffering that they are experiencing as a result of whatever's going on in their lives, and they don't even have a home. They don't
mm,
have a place to go. It was so much for me that like I think it's the powerlessness, the
mm,
acceptance of that.
mm,
So even if I think of the most evolved person like the Dalai Lama or Jesus Christ or whatever, I believe that they experience that same thing. Like when the Dalai Lama, who I actually got to see in Madison, he came to Madison.
wow.
He sees when he goes around the world and sees pain and suffering. I believe that he believes that there is a higher power in this world and that all of these things that everybody has a higher power and that higher power is taken care of. This is like the worst non-involved wording ever, but that somehow humans there is a higher power that is working through us, with us, and all of that. I believe he believes that.
Mm,
He's dedicated his entire life to that spiritual,
mm,
mm, I don't know what the right word is, practice, theory. Um, and yet I still believe he also experiences a lot of pain and agony as he sees humans who suffer, knowing full well there's nothing he can do for them.
mm. I seem to have a question mark in my head still.
Okay.
And that I feel like I'm acting like a Martian because I understand everything you're saying
Hmm.
and I have those experiences myself. And maybe I am, like you said, both can be true. Maybe that's where I'm making them mutually exclusive in my head, that if I truly believe that my son or sons,
Mm.
you know, pick a son, any son, if I truly believe that my son or anyone, my
Hmm.
clients,
Hmm.
are whole and complete, then why am I having those feelings? To me, it feels illogical. I feel like I'm being
Mm.
Spock now. I'm like, it seems
Yeah.
illogical to
Yeah.
me that if I truly believe that,
Hmm.
then why would I feel sad that they were suffering. I don't know. I feel like I've gone into a weird, like, time warp thing. I've gone into some
Well,
weird thing in my head.
what I'm really present to right now is this feels very heady.
Mm,
And so if you were to sink into your heart and ask yourself, if I trust that my kid can weather any storm, why would I be
mm.
sad when they're suffering?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Of course you would.
Of course.
And
Yeah,
you're going
of
to hug
course.
that giant, gorgeous
Mm,
son of yours
mm,
in his suffering. You can't bounce him on
mm.
your knee, but you can still,
No.
there's some smothering that can happen.
Yeah, I did a tiny bit of texting. I
Mhm.
was being very aware of the message that I was sharing
Mm,
yesterday with him because I do truly want to trust him. I do truly want to just trust that either of them, both of them,
yeah,
can, have everything they need to find their way
yeah,
in moment to moment.
yeah. Trust them to
Um,
figure it out.
yeah, and to be in the moment. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. You know. Okay.
All right, where have we landed? What's your takeaway today, Mia? What have you learned today?
That possibly I like things to be clean and I like things to be one way or the other, please, Ms. Garner. I don't want any
Yeah.
messy both ends. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit of that. Um, and a takeaway sort of it's it's funny. I was going to say, how much do I really believe that my sons, other people that I love, my clients, all the people in the world are whole and complete. But actually, I don't think it's a percentage thing. I either believe it or I don't.
Yep.
So I'm sort of like, do I believe it? Or do I just say it and keep saying it in the hope that
That
I will
eventually.
believe it more? But it's like you can't. I don't think you can believe, again, maybe I'm just being this really black and white thing again. I don't think you can believe it in shades and gradual. I believe it 60%. That's not believing it. That's not believing it.
Hmm.
That's not believing it. It's not believing it.
Yeah.
So that's where I've landed with a lot of sentences with the word not in, with a different emphasis that gives
Yeah.
different meaning.
Yes.
Go.
Yeah.
Where have you landed, madame?
Well, I listening to what you just said, it kind of like brought it full circle for me, which is trusting is a choice. Like it keeps being a choice. So I might trust my daughter right now at this time in this moment, but if you
Mm-hmm.
ask me in 10 minutes, I may like take it away and be like, oh shit, I don't trust her. And I'll be like, oh, nope, nope, I'm going to choose trust. Oh, no, I can't do it. Oh, so trust, I think, is an active intention. And there are times when I might have to make that, I might have to practice choosing over and over and over again. And the second takeaway is just because I trust doesn't mean that I don't experience pain, agony, discomfort, heartbreak, devastation.
Mm.
Okay, and then the third takeaway is like, get supported, Allison.
That's where we started. Forgotten
Period.
that.
End of sentence. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Tracy, if you have any points that you want to add, whatever your
Please
takeaway is,
put
feel
them in the
free to.
comments right here.
And the exits are here.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
cool.
Stop
Ciao.
recording. Ciao,
Goodbye.
everybody.